El Alchemista, Paulo Coelho, South American author involving moorish culture. The back of the book, la única obligación de una persona es cumplir su destino. El alquimista, the alchemist, is our sort of like archangel in this case. He is definitely a Muslim, Bedouin, Berber, Mohammedan sort of Mujahideen figure, but it's very sophisticated and mystical in a sense where he focuses on the more ancient aspects within Santiago, our protagonist's story. However, we're picking up where Santiago successfully times a particular storm that could be likened to alchemy connotatively in the sense of um, transcendence. So I'm gonna pick up here. This is Spanish and English for the Moorish Alchemists, part 75. I am your boy Marcoelboriken. Check out moorsoflight.com. Um, Amazing initiative for Moors around the world to pretty much continuously build on the vast inheritance that is all over the planet. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, birthrights. El viento gritó de contento y sopló con más fuerza que nunca. The wind rose in voice, like yelling from content, and blew with more force than ever. Las tiendas empezaron a ser arrancadas de la arena y los animales se soltaron de sus arengas. So it's saying here that the stores or the encampments began to be ripped from the ground, which was sand, and animals were freeing themselves from their reins. On a rock, en la peña, los hombres se agarraban uno a otro para no ser arrojados lejos, saying that the men they had to hold on to each other so that they wouldn't be thrown far away because of these high-speed winds. It's kind of like a tornado, but it's a desert storm. El muchacho se volvió entonces hacia la mano que todo lo había escrito, saying that the young man had become with the hand all that had been written. Y en vez de decir nada, and instead of saying nothing, sintió que el universo quedaba en silencio. Felt that the universe stayed in silence. Y quedó él en silencio también. And he himself stayed in silence as well. Una fuerza de amor brotó su corazón. A force of love sprouted in his heart. Comenzó a rezar and he began to pray. Era una oración que nunca había hecho antes. It was a prayer he had never done before. Porque era una oración sin palabras y sin peticiones. It was a prayer without words and without any requests or particular petitions. No daba gracia porque las ovejas hubieran encontrado un pasto. He gave no thanks for the sheep having found pasture. He imploraba para vender más cristales, nor did he implore to sell more crystals. Ni pedía para que la mujer que había encontrado esperase su regreso. Nor did he ask for the woman he had found to await his return. En el silencio que siguió, in the silence that continued, el muchacho entendió que el desierto, he understood that the desert, el viento, the wind, y el sol, and the sun, también buscaba las señales que aquella mano había escrito. They had found the signals that the hand wrote y trataban de cumplir sus caminos sin entender lo que estaba escrito. And they tried to complete with their hands without understanding what was written in a simple and una sencilla esmeralda, emerald. Sabía que aquellas señales estaban esparcidas por la tierra y por el espacio. They knew that those signals were scattered all throughout the earth and space, y que en su apariencia no tenían ningún motivo o significado. And in their appearance, they had no motive or significance or meaning. Y que ni los desiertos, and not even deserts, ni los vientos, not even the winds, ni los soles, not even the suns, y ni los hombres, not even the men, sabían que habían sido creados. Not even men knew why they were being created or why they were created. Pero aquello o aquella mano tenía un motivo para todo esto. But their hand had a motive for all of this. Y solo ella era capaz de orar milagros. Only she or only it was able to create or labor miracles that transform oceans into deserts and men into winds. De transformar océano en desierto y hombre en viento. Porque solo ella entendía que un designio, designio mayor empujaba al universo hacia un punto en el que los 6 días de la creación se transformarían en la gran orden. Because it was only it that understood the design, the greater design that pushed the universe towards these 6 days of creation that transformed the great work or great labor. Y el muchacho se sumió en el alma del mundo, and the young man had submerged himself in the soul of the world, y vio que el alma del mundo era parte del alma de Dios. He saw that the soul of the world was the soul of God. Y también, and also, vio que el alma del Dios era su propio alma. He saw that the soul of God was also his soul as well. Y que podía entonces, and he could now realizar milagros, miracles. So by referring to the hand of creation in terms of the 6 days of creation, which is gnosis or genosis or genosis, the Old Testament, whether it's the Torah or whether it's the Old Testament biblically, or whether it's the primary source of the Quran, the first aspect of the Quran, it all is talking about the motif of what was mentioned prior in Arabic or Aramaic is maktub, what was written or what's written, and the description of souls being millennia of earth vexes from things like oceans and its symmetry patterning deserts, which is really interesting. And really, this is just a prayer from Santiago in this particular instance. And we can see that obviously there's a storm that happens. I mean, if I was to be realistic and I was to take away the mosaic, parting of the sea, mosaic, elemental force manipulation, protagonist aspect, and I was to say, okay, this person timed a sandstorm in the middle of the desert by captives forcing him to create, obviously, which is a point of a percentage chance of somebody being on command to manipulate Earth, like I said, like somebody being able to part a sea or somebody being able to open up the sky and create a storm and have a conversation with the sun and the wind. In my opinion, he put himself on a rock and started meditating in a captive situation with no fear of the storm, but exposing the fear of other warriors that the commander, despite battles and his encampment being trashed by the storm, he was able to see who had fear inside them and who didn't. And this traveler helped the man realize, realizar milagros, realize miracles, which he describes as the force of Allah. So, really amazing. And this is why this book is so good. And this is why I decided to read it because of chapters like that. That was only about 4.5 paragraphs. And there was all that context of 13 minutes worth. So thank you for tuning in. This is Spanish and English for the Moorish Alchemists, part 50, I believe 75. My bad, I got that mixed up. Part 75. I'm gonna jump back in tomorrow. Ojalá, God willing. Part 76. They called the storm a simoon. So this simoon is what we'll be picking up on Spanish and English for the Moorish Alchemist, part 76. And we're gonna figure out what is the ultimate decision and how our story continues, being that we have 14 pages left of Paulo Coelho's El Alquimista, a fable of how to follow your dreams. The only obligation of a person is to complete their destiny. La única obligación de una persona es cumplir su destino. It's the back of the book. South American author. I am Marcoelboriken with the Moors of Light, and the quote in the back is asking, "What is your destiny?"